Have you ever wondered what happened to the cast of Who's the Boss after the series ended? While some continued to shine, others disappeared and never came back. In the list below, you'll be surprised to learn that as many as 14 familiar actors left in heartbreaking circumstances you could never have imagined. Let's remember them and honor what they left behind. Let's go. Katherine Helmond as Mona Robinson. Katherine Marie Helmond was born on July 5, 1929, in the city of Galveston, Texas, United States. When she joined Who's the Boss? In 1984, she was 55 years old, but it was the role of Mona Robinson, the mischievous, bold mother who was never afraid to break norms, that turned her into a pop culture icon. Throughout 8 seasons of the show, Katherine was the soul of witty, high-energy exchanges and was often the only one daring enough to snap back at every character with a fiery, seductive style. She passed away on February 23, 2019, at her home in Los Angeles at the age of 89 after many years of battling Alzheimer's disease. Her death was announced nearly a week later. At the time of her passing, Katherine Helmond's estimated net worth was about $5 million USD, mostly from iconic roles such as Soap, Coach, Everybody Loves Raymond, and especially the animated film series Cars, where she voiced the character Lizzie for more than a decade. In her personal life, she had once gone through a short marriage with George N. Martin from 1959 to 1962, before finding a peaceful home with her second husband, David Christian, from 1969 until the end of her life. They had no children, but they shared a strong bond, living together in New York, Long Island, Los Angeles, and even London. Outside of acting, the two also practiced meditation and studied Zen Buddhism together. In her later years, as Alzheimer's began to gnaw at her memory, Helmond gradually withdrew from the spotlight. Though time has taken her away, those sly winks and clever lines of Mona Robinson still remain. James Coco as Nick Milano. James Emile Coco was born on March 21, 1930, in the Little Italy neighborhood of Manhattan, New York. When he joined Who's the Boss? In 1985, he was 55 years old and played the role of Nick Milano, the rough-edged but warm-hearted father of Tony Michelli. Even though he only appeared in a few episodes, his natural charm and sharp facial expressions helped James Coco portray a deeply emotional father figure with a unique sense of humor. Just 2 years later, on February 25, 1987, James Coco took his last breath at St. Vincent's Hospital in Manhattan after a heart attack, passing away at the age of 56. Bitterly, his final appearance on Who's the Boss aired exactly 1 day earlier. He was buried at St. Gertrude's Catholic Cemetery in New Jersey, where many fans would later come to pay tribute. Although he had a celebrated career with dozens of stage and film roles, James Coco never accumulated a massive fortune like many of his colleagues. His net worth was estimated at only about $2 million USD at the time of his death. His personal life was full of ups and downs and remained quiet. As a gay man in an era still full of prejudice, his true identity was not publicly revealed until nearly a decade after his passing. He never married, had no children, and his private life was mostly kept hidden, except for moments when he hinted at loneliness or personal struggles in interviews. James struggled with his weight throughout his life, which contributed to his signature physical comedy style, but also caused his health to decline seriously. In 1983, he published The James Coco Diet, documenting his determined weight loss journey. Though he's been gone for more than 3 decades, the laughter he left behind through every role is still here, reminding us that sometimes the shortest lives burn the brightest. Leslie Nielsen as Max Muldoon. Leslie William Nielsen was born on February 11, 1926, in Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada, as the second son of a Danish police officer and a Welsh mother. When he appeared in Who's the Boss? In 1987, he was 61 years old and played Max Muldoon, a guest role that was brief but enough to make audiences laugh with his unmistakable comedic charm. Before that, Nielsen had been a serious leading man in Forbidden Planet and The Poseidon Adventure, but it wasn't until he took on deadpan comedic roles in Airplane and The Naked Gun that he truly became immortal to global audiences. Leslie Nielsen passed away on November 28, 2010, in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, at the age of 84. The cause was complications from pneumonia. He died in his sleep, surrounded by family and friends. His body was buried at Evergreen Cemetery, where his tombstone is engraved with the words, "Let her rip," a humorous farewell from the man who turned the fart joke into a comedic art form. His net worth was estimated at around $20 million USD, thanks to over 60 years in the profession, with more than 220 roles across television and film, ranging from classic to bizarre, from serious to legendary. Behind the unchanging smile on screen was a private life full of turmoil. Nielsen went through 4 marriages, 3 of which ended in divorce. His 2 daughters from his second marriage rarely appeared in public, and his relationship with family was once described as complicated and distant. During childhood, he was abused by his father and lived in fear. As an adult, he struggled with congenital hearing loss and wore hearing aids for life. In his later years, Nielsen faced arthritis and various health problems, yet he continued working and maintained a positive spirit, even releasing an educational video about arthritis to help the community. And that's what made him a legend, a name that, when mentioned, still makes people laugh with eyes full of affection. Robert Mandan, as Reed Hamilton. Robert Mandan was born on February 2, 1932, in Clever, Missouri, a quiet small town that couldn't hold back the ambition of a teenage boy who loved acting. In 1991, when he was 59 years old, he appeared in Who's the Boss? As Reed Hamilton, a mature, elegant, and charming gentleman who brought fresh energy to the show's supporting cast. Though it was only a guest role, Mandan's performance left an impression thanks to his calm demeanor and sharp gaze. Robert Mandan passed away on April 29, 2018, in Los Angeles after a long battle with cancer at the age of 86. Although he wasn't an A-list star, he still had an estimated net worth of about $3 million USD, thanks to decades of television work, most notably his role as Chester Tate in Soap. Behind the composed and successful appearance was a private life that wasn't very smooth. Mandan married psychotherapist Sherry Dixon in 1963, but the marriage ended after years of growing apart. His relationship with his only son also became distant, leaving scars that were not easily healed. Typecast as the businessman or refined gentleman, Mandan found it difficult to break free from his own shadow, preventing his acting career from soaring as expected. Even so, he still left his mark in The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, 1982, and Three's a Crowd, 1984 to 1985, proving himself as a persevering artist who never backed down. With his warm voice and dignified presence, he was the kind of actor people remember even if he only appeared briefly. James Hampton as Herb. James Wade Hampton was born on July 9, 1936, in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, USA. When he joined Who's the Boss? In 1984 as Herb, he was 48 years old, a prime age for a veteran television actor. In that episode, Herb was a supporting character but brought a warm atmosphere and his own subtle humor, contributing to the colorful tone of the iconic 1980s sitcom. Though his appearance was brief, he left a mark thanks to his simple, charming acting style. James Hampton passed away on April 7, 2021, at the age of 84. The cause of death was confirmed to be complications from Parkinson's disease, a progressive illness that gradually took away his mobility in the final years of his life. Over more than 50 years in the arts, he accumulated an estimated net worth of about $2.5 million USD. Not flashy, but fitting for someone who always prioritized family and genuine values. His personal life was filled with quiet tones. After marrying actress Mary Deese in 2002, they lived a low-profile life with his three stepchildren, James, Andrea, and Frank. No scandals, no controversies. He simply loved his craft and cared for his family. Before Who's the Boss, he had shined in F Troop, 1965 and 1967, as the lovable, clumsy bugler Hannibal Dobbs, and broke through with the role of caretaker in The Longest Yard, 1974, earning a Golden Globe nomination for Most Promising Newcomer, Male. Though often typecast in comedic roles, Hampton never lost his passion for acting. Earl Boen as Jim Peterson. Earl Boen, born on August 8, 1941 in New York City, was a familiar face on American television screens for decades, when he appeared in the series Who's the Boss? In 1984, as Jim Peterson, Angela Bauer's strict but humorous boss, he was 43 years old. Although he only appeared in a few episodes, Bowen's professional demeanor, sharp gaze, and skillful acting made the character of Peterson a memorable piece of this popular family sitcom. He passed away on January 5, 2023 in Honolulu at the age of 81 after being diagnosed with lung cancer in the fall of 2022. Over a career spanning more than half a century, he accumulated an estimated net worth of about $1.5 million USD, mostly from supporting television roles and voice acting work in hit game series like Monkey Island, World of Warcraft, and famous animated films. Earl Boen's life wasn't only about the arts. In 1970, he married actress Carol Keene, and they had one daughter together. But that 3-decade-long marriage ended in tragedy when Carol died of ovarian cancer in 2001, leaving a great void in his heart. After many quiet years, Boen remarried in 2008 to a woman named Kathy. He had faced periods of emotional crisis, especially after the loss of his first wife. Even so, he continued to appear regularly in projects such as The Terminator, 1984, Terminator 2, Judgment Day, 1991, Naked Gun 33 1/3, 1994, and voice acting in Metal Gear Solid 2. Every role was a personal act of healing, a mark left by a man who chose silence to fight his own inner darkness. Walter Olkewicz as Tiny McGee. Walter Olkewicz was born on May 14, 1948, in Bayonne, New Jersey, a windy port town filled with steel and grit. In 1987, at 39 years old, he appeared in the hit series Who's the Boss? As Tiny McGee, a supporting character who left an impression with his large build, warm, deep voice, and likable presence. Though he only appeared in a few episodes, Tiny McGee remained a memorable highlight, bringing a very down-to-earth kind of humor to the show. Walter passed away on April 6, 2021, at his home in Reseda, California, at the age of 72, after a long battle with illness. In his final years, he had to undergo 19 knee surgeries and was nearly immobile. His net worth at the time of death was estimated at about $1 million USD, the result of decades of quietly playing supporting roles in the entertainment industry. In his personal life, Olkewicz had been married, but the marriage quietly ended in divorce, leaving a deep emotional void. He had a son, Zach Olkewicz, who later became a screenwriter, but the relationship between father and son was not always smooth, especially in Walter's final years, which were marked by loneliness and illness. After leaving the industry due to health reasons, he returned only once for 2 episodes of Twin Peaks in 2017, as a way of closing the circle on his career. The life of Walter Olkewicz is the story of a supporting actor who never sought the spotlight, yet left behind a legacy of kindness and authenticity that audiences could never forget. Dennis Burkley as Pee-wee. Dennis Henry Burkley was born on September 10, 1945 in Los Angeles, California, and grew up in Grand Prairie, Texas. In 1986, at 41 years old, Burkley appeared in Who's the Boss? As Pee-wee, a supporting character with a large build and scruffy beard, but with a warm heart and genuine humor. Though he only appeared in a few episodes, He quickly won over the audience with his simple, friendly manner, like a good-natured neighbor in the community. Dennis Burkley passed away on July 14, 2013, at the age of 67 after a heart attack in Los Angeles. His death came suddenly but peacefully, closing the curtain on a journey of over 40 years in film and television. Throughout his career, Burkley appeared in more than 100 films and TV shows, with an estimated net worth of around $1.2 million USD. A modest sum, but well-deserved for the diligent roles he portrayed. His personal life was quiet, but no less interesting. He was married to Laura Alderdice from 1967, and they had 2 children together. He stayed clear of scandals, but Burkley did battle obesity persistently, partly due to genetics, partly due to a sedentary lifestyle in middle age. His large frame often led him to be typecast in humorous or oddball supporting roles, like the biker dozer in Mask, 1985, or the bumbling accomplice in Fletch Lives, 1989. And though the stage lights have gone dark, the name Dennis Burkley lives on in the memories of those who loved King of the Hill, Mask, and those authentic moments in Who's the Boss? Bill Erwin as Leon. William Lindsay Erwin, born on December 2, 1914 in Honey Grove, Texas, was one of the veteran faces of American film and television. When he joined Who's the Boss? In 1984, he was 70 years old, playing Leon, a supporting character who stood out with his wisdom and a touch of humor, helping shape the gentle and warm atmosphere of the series. Prior to that, he was already a familiar face on television, with countless roles ranging from classic to modern. Bill Erwin passed away on December 29, 2010, at the age of 96, at his home in Studio City, California. The cause of death was listed as old age, ending a life that had embraced the arts for nearly a century. His net worth at the time of passing was estimated at around $1 million USD, mostly saved from a career in acting that spanned over 60 years. In his personal life, Bill Erwin had a marriage that lasted nearly 5 decades with actress and journalist Fran McLaughlin from 1948 until her death in 1995. They lived together in Hollywood Hills and had 4 children. After his wife passed, he lived alone in a small house in Studio City, devoting himself to painting and attending reunions of veteran performers. He once admitted that balancing career and family was one of the greatest challenges of his life. Even so, he remained memorable in John Hughes films like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, 1987, and Home Alone, 1990, affirming his place as an essential supporting actor in late 20th century American comedy drama cinema. Franklin Cover as Mr. Campbell. Franklin Edward Cover was born on November 20, 1928, in Cleveland, Ohio. When he joined the show Who's the Boss? In 1991, he was 63 years old and played the supporting role of Mr. Campbell, a serious character who appeared briefly but left an impression with his refined, professor-like demeanor, adding depth to the show's secondary cast. Prior to that, he was already a familiar face on American television, known for his calm and intelligent manner, which suited the role perfectly. Franklin Cover passed away on February 5, 2006, at the Lillian Booth Actors Home in Englewood, New Jersey, at the age of 77. He died from pneumonia while recovering from heart failure just a few weeks after moving into the facility. With a career spanning nearly 50 years, his net worth was estimated at around $1.5 million USD. Not enormous, but enough to reflect a stable and respectable career in acting. Franklin led a quiet, private life. He married Mary Bradford Stone in 1965, and the two remained together for life. They had no children and rarely appeared in public together. The demands of television work may have led him to choose a more peaceful personal life. After The Jeffersons, 1975 to 1985, he continued to appear in The Stepford Wives, 1975, portrayed politician Hubert Humphrey in the TV movie A Woman Called Golda, 1982, and played a supporting role in the blockbuster Wall Street, 1987. These roles proved he was a versatile and enduring actor in the entertainment industry. Vincent Schiavelli as motel manager. Vincent Andrew Schiavelli was born on November 11, 1948, in Brooklyn, New York, into a Sicilian family. In 1985, at 37 years old, he appeared in a short but memorable supporting role in Who's the Boss?, playing the motel manager. With his long, melancholy face and eyes that were both sorrowful and mischievous, Schiavelli brought an eccentric, humorous yet unpredictable tone to the scene, like a strange breeze that made audiences take notice. He passed away on December 26, 2005, in his ancestral hometown of Polizzi Generosa in Sicily, at the age of 57. The cause was lung cancer. Notably, he chose to return to his roots, the very land he once wrote about movingly in his book Many Beautiful Things, to spend his final days and rest eternally. The funeral was simple, held in a small mountain cemetery overlooking the old town. His net worth was estimated at about $1.8 million USD, largely earned from iconic supporting roles like the subway ghost in Ghost, 1990, biology teacher Mr. Vargas in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, 1982, and the assassin Dr. Kaufman in Tomorrow Never Dies, 1997. In his personal life, Vincent went through 2 marriages. His first marriage to actress Alice Beasley lasted 3 years, and they had a son, composer Andrea Schiavelli. His second marriage to harpist Carol Sue Mukalian was more enduring, lasting until his death. Though Vanity Fair once named him one of America's greatest character actors, Schiavelli's life was far from easy. He had Marfan syndrome, a genetic disorder affecting the bones and cardiovascular system, which left him thin and physically fragile. At times, illness, a sense of alienation, and 2 divorces led him to withdraw, seeking refuge in cooking and childhood memories. When he passed, he left behind the image of an artist who loved his craft, loved his heritage, and lived true to himself until his final breath. Pat Buttram as Chappie. Pat Buttram, full name Maxwell Emmett Buttram, was born on June 19, 1915, in Addison, Alabama, a rustic region where he grew up in the family of a Methodist minister. In 1990, at 75 years old, he appeared in Who's the Boss? As Chappie, a short supporting role that stood out thanks to his famously squeaky voice, making the character both ridiculous and lovable. This small part served as a reminder of the comedic icon he once was, even if the spotlight was no longer as bright as during his heyday. Pat Buttram passed away on January 8, 1994, at the age of 78, at UCLA Medical Center due to kidney failure. After more than half a century in the entertainment industry, he was buried at the cemetery of Maxwell Chapel United Methodist Church near Haleyville, Alabama. With a legacy of over 40 films, Buttram left behind a net worth estimated at about $1 million USD, mostly from voice acting in animation and television. His private life did not hold as much laughter as the roles he played. His first marriage to Dorothy McFadden ended in divorce, though the 2 had adopted a daughter. It wasn't until 1952 that he found lasting love when he married actress Sheila Ryan. They had 1 daughter together, Katherine, born in 1954. But even that happiness didn't last forever. Sheila passed away in 1975, leaving a deep void in his life. That was also when Pat began to withdraw and live a quieter life away from Hollywood. He continued working on projects such as The Aristocats, The Rescuers, and even voiced a role in A Goofy Movie, which was released after his death, but later spent most of his time in his home state of Alabama. Although his career never reached the peak of stardom, he earned 2 stars, one on the Hollywood Walk of Fame and one at the Alabama Stars of Fame, becoming an unforgettable part of American pop culture. Vito Scotti as Uncle Aldo. Vito Giusto Scozzari, known professionally as Vito Scotti, was born on January 26, 1918, in San Francisco, California. With strong Italian roots, he quickly became one of the most peculiar yet familiar faces on both the small and big screen for over 50 years. In 1989, at 71 years old, he appeared in the hit sitcom Who's the Boss? as Uncle Aldo, Tony Michelli's Italian uncle. Although he only appeared in one episode, Vito's quirky style and distinctly Italian flair made the character unforgettable to television audiences. Vito Scotti passed away on June 5, 1996, in Los Angeles, California, at the age of 78. The cause of death was identified as lung cancer, a disease that had silently consumed him during his final years. His body was cremated, and his ashes were laid to rest at Forest Lawn Memorial Park, the resting place of many Hollywood legends. With over 200 roles, both big and small, he left behind a net worth estimated at around $1 million USD, largely earned through his persistence and versatility in acting, especially in television. Vito Scotti's personal life was fairly private but colorful. He married actress Beverly Tyler in 1954, and they remained happily together until her death in 2005, nearly a decade after his own. They had one son, Riccardo Scotti, who later became a sound engineer in the film industry. Later in life, Vito made a strong impression playing the eccentric sushi shop owner in The Godfather Part 3, 1990, and the reluctant priest in Curb Your Enthusiasm. Although he frequently played supporting roles, Vito Scotti was never just a background figure. Though they were only fleeting faces in Who's the Boss, each one left an irreplaceable mark. Do you remember any of them? And which story moved you the most? Leave a comment below and share your thoughts, because the most beautiful memories deserve to be remembered.